What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Phaithful Phanatics Show. We are live here, as always, on the DSM-Media Twitter channel, as well as the DSM-Media Philadelphia YouTube channel. So first and foremost, guys, you can find us on Twitter at DSM_media. Make sure to hit that follow button. And then, of course, make sure to check out the YouTube link. It's in our link tree, in our bio. It is the best and only spot to get your thoughts, comments, and questions seen and pulled up here to be interactive, like my man D-Rab is doing right there, like Corporate Pumper's doing right now. He's always angry, but we love it. We're angry today as well, Pumper. So we'll see where our thoughts align. Dave Dombrowski says that the Phillies are confident in their ball club and they are content right now in their offseason transactions. Rob Thompson says you and I have a different definition of running it back. We're going to talk about the Phillies offseason or lack thereof. Obviously, after the Bo Bichette news broke the other day, JT Realmuto re-signs for 3 years, $45 million, 22 minutes after the fact. So we'll talk about that as well. The Eagles offensive coordinator hunt continues. What names are being thrown out there, who they're interviewing right now, and where you and I kind of are looking for them to go with this one. The Sixers beat the Pacers last night after dropping a home back-to-back to the Cavs. Can they get a little bit of a win streak started tonight against Phoenix? As Joel Embiid is out, Paul George, a game-time decision. He'll warm up and see. Tyrese Maxey, first-time All-Star starter, Scotty. So a lot to get into, guys. Subscribe, follow, tap in. Let's get to it, my man. Happy Tuesday, and what is going on?
Yes, sir. Happy Tuesday. Not much going on outside of just more and more dismay to the Philly fan base, right? And you mentioned it with Dave Dombrowski, Rob Thompson comments. A little disheartening, just to be quite frank about it. The Sixers, yes, they did get back on track last night. But they did have a rough stretch there with the back-to-back against Cleveland. We'll see what it looks like tonight. No Embiid, hopefully PG, like you said. And then, yeah, man, I think something that I am excited about is some of the names that have been rumored that the Eagles are supposedly going to be interviewing for their offensive coordinator position. So here's hoping that the Eagles can bring some type of light or positivity to our day in the coming future as the season dwindles down for the NFL. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. But how you feeling, brother? Happy Tuesday, man.
I'm good, bro. Trying to navigate, figure out where to start. I also forgot, a lot of crazy endings to the divisional round in the NFL postseason this past weekend. The championship Sunday is now officially set, and some interesting quarterback play over the weekend. That's another topic we can get into. Now, obviously, recency bias isn't quite on our side, as our quarterback did not play well in the wild card round and we're sent home already. So I don't have too much of a leg to stand on. It's just interesting to watch Josh Allen turn the ball over 100 times and get sent home. It's interesting to watch, other quarterbacks turn the ball over. CJ Stroud looks like a chicken running around with his head cut off. He's going home. But hey, what do I know, man? Let's start with the Eagles OC hunt. Brian Daboll's name being interviewed, thrown out there. He's got the history with Jalen, Mike McDaniels. Where do you want to start with this offensive coordinator hunt? Let's talk about whether this is a destination that coaches or coordinators want to come to, because there are people on certain radio stations, there are fans out there that might say this job isn't as desirable, isn't as attractive as some may think. Diana Rossini was on WIP not too long ago this afternoon and said she doesn't think that people are viewing it as an attraction spot either, maybe, and that there's a lot of drama and pressure to navigate here with this job. What would you say to that? Because there is all the talent in the world on that offensive side of the ball in this city. This is a team that's been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years, right? Yeah. 3 years. Recency bias would tell you do a good job, you get to the Super Bowl, you're finding yourself a head coaching gig the year after that and getting paid. Yeah. But there is some drama, some troubling waters to navigate here. Would you say that this OC position in Philadelphia is as attractive as we believed it was 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I do. I think at the end of the day, yes, it looked the way it looked down the stretch this season. Of course, it left a lot to be desired with the results, the lack of success this season, of course. But I think if you're an OC, if you're somebody that believes in your skill set and your ability to call plays, design plays, and set players up for success, then I think you look at this team as a major, major opportunity to show how you can help a team grow and get back to what they previously were. That being said, I think you also look at recent history, like you just stated, and you look at the situation of Kellen Moore, right? Going off to New Orleans, getting a head coaching position. The Super Bowl appearance before that, Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon. I was about to forget his name. He just got fired. They both got head coaching positions right after they went to the Super Bowl, helped Sirianni with that. So I think the proof is in the pudding when you look at when this team gets on the right track and has success, they reach the highest of successes, right? And I think at the bare minimum, you can look at recent history and say, well, I'm going to get to the playoffs and I'm going to get a chance to show my stuff there on a national stage as well. I call bullshit, man. This job, as far as a coordinator position, is as desirable as any that you would look for around the NFL. I'm talking about the Lions. I'm talking about some of the head coaching positions. This position could be better than some of the head coaching positions that are available. Do you want to go and coach the New York Jets? No, because you're probably going to lose your job in the next year or two after you accept that job. Whereas you could go to the Eagles, be an offensive coordinator. Maybe next season, maybe it's one and done if you get them to the Super Bowl and you get another job opportunity. We've seen that happen already, right? But maybe it's a year or two with the Eagles. You have some long-standing success with the Eagles, and then you go and you get a nice opportunity in the job market on your next try when you want to become a head coach. And the guys I'm thinking about are Brian Dable. I'm thinking about Mike McDaniel, guys that do have a little bit of resume building to do after the recent stints, but they will most likely get more opportunities down the line. So, man, come on. You look at the weapons that are here. You look at this recent success that this core has had. As much as people want to talk shit about Jalen Hurts, I know there's a ton of coaches that want to work with a lunatic like Jalen Hurts, somebody that loves the game as much as Jalen Hurts. So I have no worries in a coordinator wanting to come here and coach. The only caveat I'll throw back to you, you don't have to comment on it or anything. You could definitely just share your thoughts. But the only caveat that I'll add in is if there is some like power dynamic or struggle that goes on between Howie and Nick Sirianni down to that OC. Right. We've heard that that's not the case. We've heard the OC is going to come in. They're going to get the keys to the offense. It's going to be theirs. So I don't see why that would be a thing, but things aren't always as they're reported, right? So we'll see.
To answer that question, I think that will be answered with whomever accepts the job. That is going to be laid out in the interview, in the second interview, at the signing, whatever. Like if a guy like Mike McDaniel or Brian Dable, one of those guys that's getting head coaching, interviews or potential opportunities, that accepts this Eagles OC job, will tell you everything you need to know about whatever whatever power dynamic exists or doesn't exist. Because I promise you, Mike McDaniel and Brian Dable are not signing a deal to become a play caller in Philadelphia if those questions are not answered, or if there is any sort of struggle from that standpoint. Now, if a younger guy, if a less, I don't want to call the name relevant, but a more of a unknown. Obviously, I said it to you the other day, like the Ole Miss offensive coordinator's name has been thrown around there. I'm not saying it's the wrong direction to go. I'm just saying if a guy like that accepts the job, we may not know what the future holds here in Philly, right? Two more names were thrown out that the Eagles have requested to interview as well. First being Bobby Slowick, who, if you remember, came 2 years ago and the year before that was the OC in Houston with CJ Stroud. And then last year had a job in Miami where things just were terrible and went awry all around there. Everyone got fired. People are getting benched. People are getting traded. So Miami was a disaster last year, but Bobby Slowick was one of those guys coming out of 2023, 2024 season before landing in Miami, where he was one of those next head coach
before
type
Kellen
guys,
Moore, right?
Yeah. Like a not on the same tier as a Ben Johnson, but, you know, with a Liam Cohen, a Ben Johnson, all those
highly
OCs
regarded.
were
Yeah.
being thrown out there. Obviously didn't make the jump or get the offer there. Bucks OC was fired as well. Josh Grizzard, who obviously has worked very closely with Baker Mayfield, and we've seen what that Bucks offense has been able to do. The Eagles to interview him as well. So doing their due diligence, checking in on just about everybody, right? Guys that could be head coaches, guys that have done that before, or guys that maybe haven't had that opportunity. I think at this point in time, man, you know, the grass isn't always greener when it comes to Kevin Patullo. That shit's going to be greener. Anything, any change, any new face, new name is going to be a positive. But the Eagles have to nail this for this upcoming year. And I saw D-Rep's comment. I know that's not what he mean. I know that's not why he typed that comment about, which is what we don't want in a short-term OC. I think there are people out there that don't want the Eagles to lose the OC again. And where I come from, that, because then it's just another guy for Jalen to learn, and a new offense, a new system, and all these question marks. If the Eagles lose their OC, it means they had great success, and not just playoffs, not just getting to the playoffs, winning a playoff game. It means they're in a Super Bowl, right? Or winning a Super Bowl, or in an NFC championship, something along those lines. That's the only real reason you lose a coordinator after one season. And sue me, I'll take that, man. Pumper chiming in, horrible candidates. I mean, man, I just listed out.
I'm curious.
I just listed out every name on the block.
There was one other one I saw thrown out there, Bob Cooter. From
Jim Bob Cooter.
Jim Bob Cooter.
Mike Kafka's name's been thrown out there. I think.
Mike Kafka. I did see.
There's another former back. Is it Davis Webb? Was Davis Webb's name thrown out there as well as a former backup QB that's not just for the Eagles, but that's gaining interest around the league. But my point is, Pumper, I just listed every name available to all the NFL, not just the Eagles, and they're horrible to you. So who are
the out of the box candidates?
Yeah, to Scotty's point,
I'm curious.
Throw us a name, Pumper. Who would you like the Eagles to at least interview for this position? That would give you some optimism moving forward.
I like the idea of having a failed head coach come in because of that reason, a failed head coach with hopes that we would get to keep him for more than a season, right? If you have success, you would hope that he's just not gung-ho to go back out into the field. Now, for some reason, man, I'll be honest, for some reason with Brian Daboll, I get to feel more from him that if we locked him in, he would probably stay here a few seasons compared to McDaniel. But maybe that's just me thinking more highly of Mike McDaniel. I don't know if that's all just made up in my head. You know what I mean? McDaniel could very well be ready to settle down into an offensive coordinator position with no pressure as well. Although no pressure. Yeah.
Right.
But you know what I mean, compared to a head coaching position where all eyes are locked on you, especially when shit goes downhill.
My bad. I'm getting good old Adobe Flash Player update that I got to check out of. Here we are. We're back. Don't worry. But yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think if either one of those guys accepts the job, if neither of those guys get a head coach offer, I think we'll tell you a lot about the following offseason, even if the Eagles do have, get back to the NFC Championship or Super Bowl. And again, those guys will be interviewed and all that stuff. But a guy like Mike McDaniel, right, and this offensive guru type of guy, younger guy, never did enough in Miami.
Yeah.
Brian Daboll, since leaving the OC position in Buffalo with Josh Allen, never did enough in New York with the Giants, right? Got to the playoffs, obviously, their first year with Daniel Jones, but underwhelmed, bad records, all that stuff, got fired a couple weeks into the season. It's like, how seriously are teams going to take those guys after just one season with a team the caliber of the Philadelphia Eagles, right? You're not turning around this uphill. You're not just fighting an uphill battle. You're not turning around this work in progress. Obviously, the Eagles offense had a lot of flaws, a lot of issues last year, but this was a team that's defending Super Bowl champions to this date still. So you jump in the saddle next year and you get things going and the Eagles have great success again. No one's going to be going, oh my God.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel's a genius.
And It's a little bit different than, say, like a Kellen Moore, who was coming in
He
as
was
kind of
never right.
he was kind of an overlooked head coaching candidate that had to settle for another
Correct.
coordinator position, right? So obviously, as soon as he
Right.
would get an
He
opportunity, he
ne
was
he
going to
never
take it.
was a head coach before getting the Eagles
Exactly,
job. This
exactly.
what these 2 guys I'm naming, especially if they don't get offers this go around right now.
Yeah, that would tell a
If
lot. That would tell a
if
lot.
they have to settle for an OC position after both being fired this past season as head coaches, that is gonna tell you all you need to know, right? But
I
then
read a
again, man,
report.
people I don't know, teams, organizations think they can turn things. Robert Saleh just got a 5-year deal with the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I did see that.
Robert
And
Saleh failed miserably in New York. Now, many things went wrong in New York. It's the Jets and the Aaron Rodgers period and the issues drafting a quarterback and all that. But failed the Jets, goes back to San Francisco as a good. Can you even say it was a good year? Like, I know there was all those injuries. I know San Francisco had a lot of success. His defense was 25th or 27th in the National Football League. Dude got a 5-year deal.
it was I mean, good managing what you have, right?
Yeah,
But
sure. But 25th in the NFL? Like you
my bigger concern with Tennessee would be, like, why are you not going with, like, an offensive minded
right,
QB
you mean like where you
guru
just
type
drafted
of.
Cam Ward?
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to switch it up. You're going in a different direction. You just fired Mike Vrabel a few years ago, so you bring in Robert Saleh. I mean, whatever. Um,
Interesting.
whatever. I did see a report that Detroit Lions did not feel like Mike McDaniel was a good fit for their offensive coordinator position, which is interesting. That's the thing, though. I think I can see a world where Sirianni and McDaniel just dork off together a little bit, where, Dan Campbell's just like that,
Let me it
bite your knees off type of
is
guy.
gonna be interesting where they decide to go and truly find out how much runway the next OC has and if it is truly their offense, man. Because like I'm just thinking personalities. You mentioned, Nick's kind of somewhere in the middle for me. Nick is obviously
He
tries
is.
to bring a little bit of toughness, a swagger, some crazy energy, but he also can be a little bit too much and be a little nerdy time to times and pander a bit. We know McDaniel is he's a nerd, man. He's a bona fide nerd, which I'm fine with in an OC. Brian Dable,
Yeah.
fiery character. I'm just wondering how much headbutting will be going on depending on who the next offensive coordinator is.
It's a great point, because Nick Sirianni got to take a step back a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? If that's what it
1000%.
takes to get a good to great offensive coordinator, offensive mind in here, you got to take a step back. You got to take a step back and let them do their thing, man. Let them apply their concepts, because, like we talked about all season, Kevin Petula was calling the plays, sure. A lot of those concepts, those schemes are Nick Sirianni's. Those 4
One would
verticals, we've been
assume.
seeing that shit for years.
One would assume.
Yeah.
The hitch routes. It was a mess this year, man. So we'll see what changes. Yeah. I saw Pumpers before we move on. I saw Pumpers comment earlier. Nothing's going to change his mind. Obviously, doing what he does, he said Hurts' dad could be the next OC, which is funny. It's a little funny, but like, he keeps going back to the mobile quarterback that won't run, brother. Let's look at the design runs. I was trying to find the tweet from Hembo. I'll have to hit him up and ask him if he has those numbers still. But basically, Paul Hembakidis laid out a couple weeks ago the amount of snaps, the amount of play calls, excluding the tush push, right? So these are actually quarterback drawn plays, drawn runs, that have been called since Jalen Hurts has been a starter under Nick Sirianni, under Shane Steichen, under Brian Johnson, under Kellen Moore, and now under Kevin Petullo. And Kevin Petullo, entering the postseason, had called a design run for Jalen Hurts over 50 less times than the next highest out of those 4 guys ahead of him.
Interesting.
Like I think they ran a total of like 47 some design quarterback runs that wasn't the tush push. So you sit here and talk about his lack of willingness or his speed to beat someone off the edge or whatever that you've done all year. The bottom line is the guy that I've been complaining about, not just in the pass game and the run game, simply did not design or call plays for your mobile quarterback to be a threat. in that case.
And all I was going to say is it might be rightfully so. At the end of the day, we watched this offensive line play like shit all season. We watched Saquon Barkley, who led the league in rushing yards last season, went over 2,000 rushing yards last season, if we all remember that, right? The offensive line helped him do that. If Saquon Barkley can get blown up 2-3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, get cracked as soon as he's handed the ball, your quarterback can too on design run. So maybe you're just not putting Jalen in that type of traffic, rightfully so, with the lack of success with the O line.
Right.
But no,
I
man.
think to that point though, like, so again, you didn't use motion. Again, there's, I don't know where they ranked in the league,
plenty.
but like,
There's
I saw someone, I think it was Acho or someone breaking down the clip, and again, we can make fun of these guys or be annoyed at what they say sometimes, but like he pointed out, the 7-man front, the 8-man front, the boxes that the Eagles just continuously ran Saquon into, and it's like, okay, well, on the Jalen, I'm not saying an RPO, I'm saying, okay, we'll put 5 wide and spread them motherfuckers out, right? And that's the design run I'm talking about, and if they don't completely spread out, well, now you have the authority to change it at the line of scrimmage where you have a one-on-one on the outside with AJ or Smitty if they are still keeping a linebacker in the box or bringing a safety down in the box. So just a total, we all know this, so we're not breaking news here, a total lack of creativity or self-awareness from the Eagles play calling this year. Anything at this point will be, in my mind, better. We'll have to see it play out. But
I mean, to everything that you just kind of elaborated on, the guy sounds like Mike McDaniel. It sounds like he should get the job. Just reading some of D-Rab's comments.
Is that your number one?
Well.
I was just going to ask you that.
He's easily my number one, man. I just think about if all of this stuff that's said about Jalen Hurts and him not being able to, understand offenses or get the ball out quick, we would find out with Mike McDaniel, because he's going to be able to put him in situations to get the ball out quick, easy reads, quick, easy decisions. I was just looking through the candidates, and then you look at Mike McDaniel and what he was able to do with Tua and Tyreek Hill some of those seasons, and he got the most out of Tua. Tua led the league in passing yards during one of those seasons while Mike McDaniel was coaching. Tyreek Hill had a career season with Mike McDaniel. You talked about it last show. Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert having career years in that run design, that run scheme. So I just look at him. I just think it's like he presents everything that our offense has been missing. He's hyper motion. He's a Shanahan tree branch, right? Like he's off of that coaching tree. It's everything that we've been missing with our offense. In reality, since Sirianni's gotten here, even when we've been in those Super Bowl trips, man, the offensive play calling could honestly have been better. And that's why I want somebody who is kind of just completely different than what we've been experiencing the last couple of years, man.
Well, let me come out and say this, right? If they do go out and bring in a highly touted name, a highly touted offensive mind that's been in this league, has played in multiple different roles with multiple different star quarterbacks or star receivers or whatever. Mike McDaniel, to your point, I know you mentioned Tua and the passing yards and Tyreek and Waddle and all the explosiveness they had there. He's also a demon in the run game, right? Like getting Devon Achane going. Last year, Raheem Mostert a year or two ago led the league in rushing touchdowns. Achane also had like double-digit rushing touchdowns. The screen game, I am Jalen Hurts' you and I are Jalen Hurts' number 1 and number 2 supporters, I think, right now. Well, obviously there are a lot of other people that love to support him. I'm just saying, from the people we deal with in the comments, we defend them 99% of the time. I'll sing a different tune with you, Pumper, with some other people. If they bring in a Brian Dable, if they bring in Mike McDaniel, if they bring in a Bobby, just even like a Bobby Slowick or to your point, the Rams pass game coordinator, what is it, Nate Shieldhouse or whatever?
I'm down for something like that. I don't know much about him. I assume he's in McVay's system. I'm down for something like that. Don't get me wrong.
So, and the Eagles offense doesn't totally look different, and there's still similar limitations on things, and there's a lack of motion and a lack of difference. That's, to me, is very telling then of he can't do this like some people assume. I'm not one of those people.
I don't
In the 2 Super Bowls, outplayed Patrick Mahomes both Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl MVP, defending champ right now. I'm just saying, if you see similarities from a Mike effing McDaniel to what we're experiencing this past year, then there's a common denominator. However, I don't foresee that playing out that way.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. And as you were talking there about talking through kind of Sirianni, Jalen, I was just thinking like Mike McDaniel, seeing some of the clips, obviously, and these are clips, take them at face value, of course, but just listening to him talk about football compared to like Sirianni. Sirianni always talks about the details, right? He talks about the details, how important the details are. Mike McDaniel actually elaborates on what the details are. So I think that's where they could possibly
he broadens the details. Nick's very he specifies the details, I should say. Excuse me.
Give me a
Nick's
Shanahan
very
and
broad.
McVay disciple. Give me that all day. Shanahan,
I mean, you had
McVay,
Kevin Patullo coming to the podium after an ugly loss or the offense can't get things going, saying, we just need one play to go our way. Just need one block here.
And fucking call it, motherfucker.
Yeah, right. Dude called a timeout to run 4 verticals with the season on the line on 4th and 11. That's what they came up with.
Make it up.
I can't forget about it. But, all right, we'll continue to monitor this, as is every other Eagles fan and everybody else talking about the Eagles. So hopefully in the coming week, coming 2 weeks, whatever, the Eagles have this figured out and we know who's going to be the play designer and play caller next year and kind of bring some hope.
I do got one more stat for you before we move. I don't know if we were planning to move off the birds just yet, but
go wherever we want. It's a random Tuesday.
We move off of them. You mentioned quarterback play earlier, man, and I wanted to kind of follow up on that because I looked into it this morning. 5 out of the 8 quarterbacks that played over this weekend turned the ball over multiple times. You mentioned Josh Allen, 4 turnovers. Brock Purdy, least of the 5. He only had 2. CJ Stroud had 4 turnovers. Drake May had 3 turnovers, and Caleb Williams had 3 turnovers this weekend. So just throwing it out there. QB play. It's just interesting to see it across the board. Maybe defense is good. I don't know.
It is, and I think the thing that bothers me the most, and it's pretty funny because I saw, and obviously they're friends, so they're just busting balls, but I saw a clip of the Pat McAfee show kind of getting on Dan Orlovsky for I guess maybe having someone steal his phone or being logged out of X during the Bills game because, when a guy that he doesn't love, too much, turns the football over or has a bad game or whatever the case may be, he is live tweeting like a motherfucker and he won't stop. And then the second that a guy, Josh Allen, turns how many times you tell me that Josh Allen turned the ball over Saturday?
He had a couple fumbles, but he only turned it over 4 times.
It's interesting. Turned the ball over 4 times. And I saw someone else tweet, it might have been Chase Daniel actually, which is even funnier.
Yeah.
Forget the turnovers. Forget the 4 motherfucking turnovers and a 3-point overtime loss. He also said, he actually went to break down the missed throw. So 4 turnovers plus a missed walk-in touchdown throw to, I believe, Dawson Knox or Dalton Kincaid. I think it was Dawson Knox was it in the overtime period? Yeah. So forget the biggest throw of the season. Forget the 4 mistakes and 4 turnovers. Outside of all that, Josh Allen played his ass off. There were people earlier in the season, Scotty, before the season started, telling me that CJ Stroud is like a top 6 quarterback, top 7 quarterback in the National Football League. In both games, not just this game, man. In the Pittsburgh game, we talked about it. If they don't have multiple defensive touchdowns in that game, forget about it. In this game, they had the or no, was it the other way? There was a block punt in this game, was there not? I can't remember. But regardless,
Patriots did score. I know they scored.
Regardless, he was absolutely atrocious again, right?
Yeah.
When's it end, man? Yeah. Because that's where I just want people to stay in a clear lane, right? Lay out the rubric. Tell me what's what. Forget the name of the player. Tell me how you criticize a game. Because if Josh Allen is the reason his team loses, you tell me to forget about the turnovers. If Jalen Hurts fumbles the ball 1 time in a 3-point loss in the Super Bowl, you tell me that is the sole reason the Eagles lost the football game.
Yeah.
Just keep it a buck. That's all I'm saying.
And I think when examining the QB play across the league, I think there's only a few quarterback, like if you want to tier them out and say there's only a few elite quarterback players in the league,
Yeah.
I'm willing to hear that. Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and I was thinking about like the Stafford of the world. Like he's an MVP most likely this year. Between him and Drake May, Drake May's a unicorn. He's good. I think he's a guy that's going to be here to stay.
Who mind you,
But
put the ball on the ground 4 times and threw a pick in
he
the
did.
game as well.
He did. Stafford is what, 35 plus, 37 years old, some shit.
Stafford's
Like,
got to be like 30, 38.
how many years does he have on guys like Jalen Hurts or even a guy like CJ Stroud or some of these younger quarterbacks that we're all like, I fall into it too, but I feel like I do it out of rebellion of Jalen Hurts and the way he's talked about. But all of these guys, man, like they got room to grow. By the time they're 30 years old, they could be completely different players. It's just interesting to look around the league and think about how fast guys get crowned and then just so quick to strip that crown away before you know it, outside of Josh Allen. He's the exception. I did have one more question for you, NFL-wise, man. Who was the most surprising firing? Like after hearing about McDermott getting fired, getting canned after that game. Think through there was a bunch.
Yeah, I know.
This season.
I don't know that Harbaugh is necessarily surprising. I think something seemed to be giving there, whether it was Lamar moving on. I don't know. If I'm being honest with you, I agree with maybe everything that happened, right? If I was a franchise, because I have a follow-up question for you as well, but it relates back to the quarterback, right? And it is a what have you done for me lately type of league. It is a production-based type of job. And it's, if you are the Buffalo Bills, when would enough be enough if not Sean McDermott now, right?
Yeah.
If you are the Baltimore Ravens with Harbaugh and Lamar, right? One's got to give.
Yeah.
Which way are you going, right? Tomlin, you can't talk about Tomlin because he resigned, essentially. He left. And then you get into guys that were just terrible or underwhelming or their team stunk. So it's Baltimore and it's Buffalo, and it's those two guys that Baltimore obviously been there a very, very long time, but McDermott been there for a hot minute in Buffalo as well. Again, like if it wasn't going to be now, when was it going to be for the Bills and Josh Allen and Sean McDermott? So you have to make a move. I don't hate it. I just think, look, we moved on from Andy Reid.
Yeah, that's what I always kind of reflect back to.
But again, he will tell you, the Eagles will tell you, anyone will tell you, when it's time, man. Like a change of scenery is necessary at times. The question I would have let's just stay with Baltimore and John Harbaugh, right? Who in reality is what, a CEO head coach, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to find better on the mark? Like, so now if you're Baltimore, you're going out and what are you looking for, right? I'm assuming you're looking for an offensive-minded genius that's going to get Lamar Jackson,
Are they bringing in Mike McDaniel? I guess that would be a prime spot, right? Because he was already rumored, Lamar, to go to Miami. Maybe that was why. I don't know why that was ever a thing, but
yeah,
it's interesting though. It is interesting nonetheless. I do agree with you ultimately. Like, it's not that Sean McDermott did something during this postseason stretch that like was just inexcusable, that you have to reprimand him by firing. It's not like that. It's just, we can't trade Josh Allen. That's not fucking happening, right? Like he turned the ball over, whatever. Maybe we need to get a coach that doesn't put him in those.
Scotty, he's probably talent wise, the man is arguably the greatest Bill of all time. Jim Kelly, and here's the follow-up question I have for you. Like, as an Eagles fan, when we have a guy like Jalen Hurts compared to more like eye test talent, wildly talented type of quarterbacks, go back to Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly and the Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls. Didn't win one, which is historically insane, but went to 4 straight. So there's all that playoff success. All that winning was done. Yeah. But Josh Allen is clearly Josh Allen is the best Buffalo Bills quarterback ever. My question for you, like in today's day and age, when you're looking at what it takes, and when you look at, the years of information we have now of guys like Joe Burrow, of Lamar, of Josh. Burrow's been to 1, has T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, had Joe Mixon, has Chase Brown. Oh, but his defense stinks. Oh, so you're telling me that he needs a lot to win. He needs everything to go right to win. You have Josh, you have Lamar with Henry rushing for all this. What's the line? What is the combination, the percentage of the talented guy, the more talented guy, what your eyes tell you, versus the guy who seemingly just finds ways to win?
Yeah.
And does more winning, right? Patrick is the anomaly. Patrick is like GOAT level, has the winning plus all the talent in the world. You can make a case that like people will make the case that he's the GOAT. He's not. It's still Tom. But like he's top what? What's Patrick now? Top 3 all time? Possibly top 2 all time in NFL history? When you're talking of the Bradys and the Mannings and the Marinos and the Elways and the Montanas and the Breeze and so on and so forth.
You're taking Mahomes over Manning, right?
I think you have to from the playoff success.
Yeah.
I'll preface it by saying Peyton Manning's my favorite quarterback of all time.
Yeah, no disrespect at all to Peyton Manning at all. But
like Peyton, I would still say Peyton's top 4.
Now we can get into like maybe 3. Passing specifically, but when you add in the fact that Mahomes.
So my question for you and whoever's out, there's over 30 people in the live stream right now. Yeah. If you want to get involved, make sure to head over to the YouTube, not the Twitter, because we can't see your comments. Look, what's the combination then in this day and age, right? Like Josh Allen, all the talent in the world. People tell me all the time, Josh Allen's the best. Josh Allen's second best behind Mahomes. Josh Allen clears Jalen Hurts. Just as an example, you see the wall behind me.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's been the 1 AFC championship, 0 Super Bowls, and just turned the ball over 4 times in an overtime 3-point loss. Justin Herbert, we know all the talent. We know the lack of winning. What's the Joe Burrow can't make the playoffs. Now, obviously, I know that defense is atrocious, but can't make the playoffs. Lamar didn't make the playoffs this year. What's the combination between what your eyes tell you is the more talented guy in the league? Dak Prescott. People tell me all the time, Dak Prescott's the best quarterback in the NFC East.
Yeah, dude, because I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, obviously, everything resorts back to the Eagles, right? Like, you think of the Eagles, and I just think substitute maybe Lamar for Jalen or substitute Josh Allen. We're getting into these hypotheticals that do not matter. I get that. But when I think about those situations, I think, yeah, they could probably lead the Eagles to maybe a better regular season. Like, they could maybe win another game or 2 in the regular season, those seasons. I don't know. I think they won 14 games the one year. Maybe I'm
mind you, people. I'm not trying to cut you off, bro. I swear to God, I'm going to let you continue right now. But mind you, like, that's what people love to go to, right? If Joe Burrow was an Eagle last year's team, mind you, from a point of last year to this year, whenever it was, the Eagles had won 21 of 22 football games.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much more winning can you possibly do? Whoever slotted under center.
Maybe put it this way. Maybe the points per game would be higher.
Right,
maybe it would be in that facet, right? Maybe they would be scoring more points per game. But even then, you get down into the integral moments of a playoff run, and you think about that game against the Rams in the snow. You're telling me that Lamar Jackson isn't turning the ball over multiple times in that game? You're telling me that Josh Allen isn't turning the ball over multiple times in that game to cost you that game? You're telling me when you go into the Super Bowl against we've seen Josh Allen, we've seen Lamar against the Chiefs and what that defense is able to do to them, man. So
they're bad.
It's in these integral moments.
Yes.
Would they be able to make these plays?
Pumper says we're being casual by having this. So make it uncasual, Brian. Tell me, make it uncasual. You tell me who you'd rather have, right? Because I don't know how much more evidence has to be. Like, Josh Allen had a chance with this bracket, with what played out this season. No Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar. It's got to be Josh's year. It's what the comments told us for weeks.
Yeah.
And in the biggest game of the season, the dude turned the ball over 4 times.
If they need what Jalen Hurts has, then what makes them better than Jalen Hurts?
Correct.
So whatever, yeah.
Like that's what I go back to with like the Burrow conversation.
Casual discussion.
Like, yeah, the Bengals defense is fucking atrocious. No one's denying that. So maybe you tell me, he doesn't need the Eagles defense. He just needs a top 14, top 15 ranked defense comparatively to what he has. But like, Jalen Hurts has all the talent, like all this help. Joe Burrow has Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and had Joe Mixon. Chase Brown.
I get your point though. It's like what. Like Josh Allen is a case where maybe we don't know yet, right? Like we'll see as the years go on. Josh Allen has talent that makes you say, yes, top 2 quarterback in the NFL.
See,
At what point do you
you're a
start to
clown. Like, this is where we move on because I don't want to get too
Yeah.
angry. I'm having a happy show. This is the clown. Like that, Brian, that's the most casual thing that's ever been said. Hurts is lucky. He's lucky. He's lucky to do all the winning over the last 4 seasons. He's lucky to play like an MVP in 2 different Super Bowls. He's lucky to lead his team to 90-plus points in the NFC Championship and Super Bowl combined last year on his way to winning Super Bowl MVP. He's got a number 1 at every position. But these other guys need more, man.
Yeah.
Dak has
I'll
CeeDee
never
Lamb.
understand it.
Dak the one year had Ezekiel Elliott and CeeDee Lamb and another receiver that went over 1,000, and Micah Parsons had 15 sacks, and Trevon Diggs had 10-plus interceptions. Dak needed more. Joe Burrow has a Triple Crown winner. T. Higgins is number 2. He had Joe Mixon. He needs more. James Cook led the NFL in rushing this year. Josh Allen needs more. He had Stephon Diggs for all those years. Josh Allen needs more. Everybody seemingly needs more except Patty, excluding from the conversation. Every quarterback needs help. Matthew Stafford. They already have Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams. They go out and add Devontae Adams to that offense.
I don't know.
That's my point about winning, man. It's not easy. So to Pumper, to your point, right, how you talk about Jalen, all the help he has, and making it seem like it's so easy when you're that talented, by your statement, the Rams better go win the Super Bowl this year. Remy, I'm not trying to jinx you as a fan, but by your logic, with what, imagine if Stafford was on the Eagles. All right, yeah, the Eagles defense, I would take over the Rams. But the Rams with Puka and Devontae, and you're glazing over Sean McVay and his pass game coordinator. The Rams, and they just might. I would say the Rams are the favorites to win right now. I would take them to go win the Super Bowl, but they better go do it by your logic.
And the number 1 in every position. We just watched A.J. Brown drop how many passes in that playoff game? Like,
Correct.
Whatever, man. Like, I do.
Position. Cam Jurgens couldn't block Pumper this year. Jordan Mailata was on his hands and knees all year long, falling down every other play. Lane Johnson missed 90% of the season. Tyler Steen but he's got number 1.
There's a couple quarterbacks that you can say.
But as long as you agree, as long as this yes is in agreement to the fact that the Rams and Stafford better go win the Super Bowl now, then hey, I'll back off.
With the rest of these teams,
and if they do it, they do it. I think they should. Jarrett Stidham's playing one of the 4 quarterback positions this week.
Yeah, they should.
Sam Darnold, who he's going up against personally, and Matthew Stafford.
I don't know.
So they should go do it. Like your logic.
There's a very short list of quarterbacks you could sub Jalen Hurts out for, and it would actually make sense. There's a very, very short list of quarterbacks. Short.
Agreed.
And one of them, Stafford, who's fucking 39 years old.
Correct. Stafford, right. The way that he's playing right now, but right.
Yeah, he can dissect the defense a little bit better than Hurts. Yeah. He's fucking 40 years old. Like, he understands offenses and defenses a little bit better, I would assume. Yeah. So there's a few exceptions, man. But yeah, it's tiring with Pumper, dude. Like, nobody's good enough except for Keely Ringo and, so on and so
Tanner
forth.
McKee.
So. Tanner McKee, the Mormon Missile.
Let's talk about another team Pumper seemingly loves, the Phillies.
This might be one we can agree.
The Phillies, man. Dave Dombrowski, Rob Thompson speaks today. I'm done. I love baseball season. I love opening day. I know I said the other day, maybe they're not a playoff team. They're probably still going to win 90-plus games. That's going to put them right in the conversation for the playoffs in Red October coming in. I'm done. Scotty, the offseason's not over. However, by the words spoken by our president of baseball operations today,
sounds like it is.
By the words of the manager, who I know what else is he supposed to say today besides back up his club and tell you you're wrong. But by the words of the 2 guys leading things here, this is a damn good ball club, and they are content with the team that they have. They are worse than they were when the season ended. You have a pitching staff that is going to add Andrew Painter, but subtract Ranger Suarez, and Zach Wheeler probably won't be starting for at least a month and a half to 2 months into the season. Your pitching staff on opening day is worse.
Yep.
Your bullpen, you have Duran for the whole year. Obviously, that's humongous, right? You have him for even a year after that. Brad Keller, I love the addition when it happened. It's a very good addition. Alvarado's back from suspension. You moved on. You traded Matt Strahm. The bullpen, maybe it's better. Maybe overall from where it was last year. Sure. And then you get to the lineup. You get to what's been the issue with this team and the reason they get sent home for the last 3 to 4 years. And I can make an argument that they're worse off today than they were when the season ended. I get it. You thought you had Bo Bichette. I'm not even totally mad at the Philly. You offered him what he wanted. It seems like you got played a little bit. Like you were a piece on a chessboard for him and his agent. That's what it seems like right now today to me.
Yeah.
You added Dolis Garcia. I like it in itself. Doesn't make you better when you lose Harrison Bader and move on from Nick Castellanos. Dolis Garcia and Justin Crawford, they're different, right? They're different than Nick Castellanos and Harrison Bader. Don't tell me that they're better than Nick Castellanos and Harrison Bader. Rob Thompson had the balls to come out and say that threw Otto Kemp's name into the mix as a guy that wasn't here on opening day last year. That's why they're not running it back. They reconfigured 20 to 25% of this ball club. Alec Boehm's still going to be hitting cleanup. Bryson Stott is still going to be at the bottom end of this lineup. Brandon Marsh. JT Realmuto's back. You're the same and arguably worse. While the Mets get light years better, while the Braves get healthy again, while the Dodgers continue to spend billions and add, while the Diamondbacks make a move for a Nolan Arenado, I'm done. If this is what they are, I'm going to watch the Phillies all year long. You know, I'll be going to some games. I'll be rooting them. I'll be rooting along with them with everybody else. I'm not going to try to be doom and gloom and negative Nancy all season long. But it's not. They're not close to enough, bro.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was just gonna ask you, like you kind of hinted at it, but like what is the buy-in point? Where can you buy back in to the Phillies? Because that's the problem. That's the problem. Okay, you think you're locked in, you're content with this core that you have, you're content with sustaining most of the roster from last season, right? And moving into this upcoming season. So from optics, outside perspective, it's going to be hard for us to see something different than the playoff collapse. You get to the playoffs and then the collapse, whether it's first, second, or whatever round, right? So if you don't change the core around, then what point gets you back to bought into thinking, yes, this team can get over the hump?
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it's going to cause Phillies fans to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out all
the whole year.
season.
The whole year.
You don't want to get your hopes up again, even if Kyle Schwarber or Harper's having an MVP caliber season with their bat, right, during the regular season. You don't want to get your heart broke again when the bats go cold, supposedly come the postseason. Now, to be fair, we've discussed this on the show before. Your big bats have to show up. You weren't looking to move any of your big bats for the most part.
You were looking to add to your big bats.
So they need to show up next postseason and the other postseason and so on and so forth, regardless. So that's the other side of it. If they show up, sure, you could beat anybody. But you just want some reassurance, man. You want some initiative, because the Dodgers, they go out, they beat everybody, and then they go get the best player, and then the second best player, and then the third best player on the market as well. So it's like their expectations weren't even met by winning the World Series back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
They still want to go out and get better. So for us to just be content after not even getting close,
brother, makes
zero sense.
Look at even what the Mets did right now. This wasn't a playoff team last year after signing Juan Soto to $1 bajillion the season prior. But like, and look, and I'm not even. I'm saying this as a compliment to them. I think it could turn out to be disastrous for them. The Bo Bichette deal with all the opt-outs. He can opt out after the season if he wants. So you paid him $42 million. He can move on at age 28 at that point, right? But the Mets went out this offseason after they already have Juan Soto, they have Francisco Lindor. They move on from McNeil and Nimmo. They lose Alonso. What do? Right? Well, at the beginning of the offseason, they trade for a guy named Marcus Semien to play in the middle infield. Now, Marcus Semien is not from a couple years ago, but Marcus Semien won a World Series a few years ago as the third or fourth best hitter on the Rangers with Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia and those guys. So you had Marcus Semien. They go out and they add Jorge Polanco, who just played in an ALCS for the Mariners. He plays in the infield. Then they go out and they make the Bichette signing. They have, I believe, 2 outfielders listed on their depth chart at the moment. Jorge Polanco and Marcus Semien both play the infield, which is where you just brought in Bo Bichette to. Yeah. You see, my point is they don't care about the fits. That's what we keep looking for. Where can we be better in the margins? Where can we marginalize and be better by 2% here? They're going out and saying, this dude's on the market. I'm going to go attack, and I'm going to bring in the best baseball players I possibly can.
Yeah. Which could be bad or good.
You're right. It could come around and bite them in the ass. Maybe they are fucking terrible defensively this year, and we're laughing at them. But as a fan, if I was a fan, if I had to pick, would I want the team that went out and signed Bo Bichette and Jorge Polanco and traded for Marcus Semien this offseason? Or would I be the team that signed Adolis Garcia for $10 million? Which fan base has a little bit more optimism heading into this year?
Yeah.
And you're right. Because everything that Rob Thompson said today is absolute moot to me. And I have been a Rob Thompson defender for as long as he's come and taken Joe Girardi's place. And I know he really can't say anything else. He's not the one pulling the strings. He's not the one with John Middleton's wallet in his pocket, right? He's not Dave Dombrowski. But he said he was asked about the fans and the media's reaction to the Phillies, quote unquote, seemingly running it back. And he snickered at it. And he made the comment of how they've changed 20 to 20% of their roster. And the names that he threw out there, he did say Otto Kemp. I'm not even fucking making that up. He said they have a new right fielder. Time will tell if Adolis Garcia is better than Nick Castellanos or he's another Max Kepler edition.
Yeah.
He said they have a new Crawford's coming up. Unknown, he's a rookie. They have a new pitcher to their staff in Painter. Unknown, he's a rookie, and you lost Ranger Suarez.
Yeah. Big caveat.
And you've made an addition to the bullpen. The only addition this offseason, forget the Duran thing, forget Alvarado for suspension. They were already here. This offseason, you have subtracted Matt Strahm, added Brad Keller. Is Brad Keller better than Matt Strahm? Possibly, he might be. I like the signing in itself. Brother, you're the exact same, but somehow worse than you were when the season ended in Los Angeles.
And look,
I am as out as you can possibly be on this team right now. It is January. I know I'll be happy on opening day. I know come fall circle, the end of next September, if they're in a playoff spot, I'll be as happy as hell with all, the hopes and dreams I can have. They're not good enough. And I don't know that they'll make the playoffs in the NL as this team is constructed right now.
It's just funny because the only other way that comes to mind that could have given us a fresh perspective is if Rob Thompson was fired. So it's just
and brother, that especially in baseball, that's moot to me as well. Like they brought in Don Mattingly as a bench coach. That's a great signing. I thought it was going to help bring Bo Bichette here. That's what some of the smoke said, right?
Yeah.
Don Mattingly's been an excellent manager in this league. If you replace Rob Thompson with Don Mattingly, I'm sure some people would be happy about it. The fuck does that do for the on-field product of what Dombrowski has put together? Tell you this, the Phillies go out and they win 88 to 91 games this year, and they miss the playoffs because the NL is loaded and getting better. Dave Dombrowski should be fired immediately. Not a second thought to it.
Yeah, it's just weird to close the door. It's just weird to come out and close the door on making any more moves. Maybe they do, right? Maybe
it's Dave speak and he's posturing and he's flying under the radar and boom, in 3 weeks the Phillies are going to make some trade that
You
no
just
one
don't
saw coming,
you
and
don't
I'll be singing a
combat
different tune.
the Philly fans. You don't combat them on top of not doing what
Time
they
out.
want you to do.
Time out.
You don't
Let's
combat.
go back. Let's go back to the first thing Dave Dombrowski opened his fucking mouth with this offseason. Questioning Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Coming at Bryce Harper. That's how you started the offseason. And then you followed that insane thing to say about your star. You follow that up with this lackluster performance and getting beat by your rival for the star on the board in Bo Bichette. If I had a number one, like my number one most hated person in Philly sports right now, it's Dave Dombrowski. And if you talked to me back in June and July last year when we were on the show, I was defending everything Dave Dombrowski was doing. This is so undefendable, whatever the fucking word is.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I think he takes the cake right now, for sure.
The dude is hanging on by a thread for his past, from what he did with the Tigers and the Red Sox. Well, all right. We didn't have anything. We didn't have a Japanese pitcher. He was never coming to Philly. Whether that's the Phillies' fault for not trying to make it happen, he was never coming to Philly.
I think it's a struggle to get these Asian ball players over to the East Coast, man.
Unless you're unless you're going to be the Yankees or the Mets in the Big Apple, right? Unless you're one of those two teams. No.
Yeah.
And it's not a racially crazy thing to say. It's LA, it's that coast, it's Houston down there. It's geography. It's what's going to happen. It's the taxes, whatever you want to get into.
That too. Yeah.
All right, last piece to get into before we wrap up here tonight, man. The Sixers 23-18 on the season, coming off of a win last night against the Pacers. Did not play their best ball. I don't know where you get your information from, but moving on. What are we doing with the Sixers right now, man? The trade deadline's approaching. Jared McCain gets loaned to the Blue Coats now, gets basically sent down in that speak. Grimes struggling from three since like the beginning of December.
Yeah.
Still playing solid basketball. Embiid returning to form, not playing tonight. Paul George playing better. Maxey, all-star starter. Oubre back. Watford back. Jabari Walker and Barlow still playing a ton of minutes together. Let me start there with you. Because it's the very low point. It's not like the talking point I want to get to. But I did notice like being at the game the other night, and then last night he played like 24 minutes as well. Do you think the Jabari Walker like uptick in minutes recently is because he's not going to be on the Sixers roster soon, and not because they're trading him? Like they gave, I believe, Barlow. Didn't they give Barlow like that two-way that two-way deal that they had?
Yeah.
So I believe Jabari Walker was one of the players with Barlow where like by a certain date, I don't think he is playing.
You might be right. I'm not 100% sure.
So is it kind of just like getting the most out of him right now while these guys work their way back type of deal?
It could be, man, but I'll be honest. Watching Trendon Watford come into the lineup, it's been a little bothersome, man. He just misses a lot of fucking layups. I know he's getting back from injury. We'll see. He's just such a, like, what would you call it? He's just very matchup-based type of player. That's what I would say with Watford. Whereas Jabari Walker, you can kind of throw him in there against anyone. He's going to hustle. He's going to try to grab boards. But it is interesting his usage compared to like a Dembona, who was showing some good signs as well. To your point, I won't be surprised if Dominic Barlow is converted to that full-time contract soon. And if that is the case, if it comes down to between those two, then I think Jabari Walker's gone. He's older than Barlow, I believe, and Barlow's just been a much better fit overall to the point where he's starting. But yeah, it is interesting. Some of the lineup movements, even some of like the approaches. Like I don't know. It just feels like, we're getting back into like that. I don't know. It's some games. It's not every game, but it feels like some games we get back into that funnel the ball to Embiid. And Embiid's been great, especially the last couple weeks, maybe the last month. Is that older than Barlow? What's Barlow, 23, 22? I don't know. I'm taking Barlow over Walker.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't matter. I'm taking Barlow over Walker.
I think Barlow might be a little
corrects on like dumb shit. I just don't understand it. Nonetheless, though, it has been interesting of late, just seeing the approach that they're going with. They are starting to get guys back healthy. We'll see how Kelly Oubre gets integrated there. But it is interesting, your point with Quentin Grimes, the shooting percentage. I don't know. It's like it's hard to read where the Sixers are right now in terms of like them going out and trying to make a move to get this team to a better place. You know what I mean? Like, do they need to?
I was going to ask you that. Right.
Do they need to?
Right, because technically all they would need, right, comparatively to be better than they are right now in the margins is for Quentin Grimes to get back to shooting well from three, for Trendon Watford and Kelly Oubre to, both to be what they can be and where to start the season.
Which All-Star break could do that. You could
right.
have a break and come back, rested, be able to shoot the ball better, whatever. But
I would say they're as close. They're closer than they've ever been come deadline time to having the complete roster that you would think about in the postseason. I think there's a marginal. I don't even want to say marginal. I saw RB posted a video earlier. I saw on TikTok of his top 3 targets. And he wrapped it up with Benedict Mathurin and Colin Sexton from Charlotte. And it's like the scoring punch from Sexton off the bench, Mathurin the all around from Indiana having a down year, and then also he started with the white dude on Indiana as well,
Jay Huff.
Yeah, he was the first one he had pointed out, which obviously different than the first two being kind of guard wing combo, but that's the kind of move I think you're looking at, right? In the past, it's either been a star or it's been like 3 step. We need a backup big. We need a combo guard. We need a scorer. We need this. We need that. It's like they don't look in the big picture of, well, are they good enough to compete with the Thunder, brother? I'm not answering that question. They're not.
Yeah, it's hard to say that.
You know what I mean? But in terms of the East, yeah, I think that's kind of where they're at right now.
Yeah, especially the slide that the Knicks have been on. The Cavs, while they just beat us 2 times in a row, they haven't looked great this year. The Celtics do look like they're overachieving without Tatum. But, I mean, overall, as a whole, the East, I mean, you're looking at the Detroit Pistons. They are dogs up there, but they have one superstar, and then Jalen Duren's really good. It's not like they're presenting this, super team. They just have some really good dogs around those guys.
Well, they got a Sar.
But no, just hearing those names, it sounds like a 2-for-1 type of situation where I don't know who are you trading. I don't know. I mean, I guess the best way to put it is that Grimes is not off the table. Off the table. I'm not searching to trade him, but he's not off the table if the right deal comes around.
It is funny because obviously you have to give something to get something in this league. But the guys that were just alluded to in that,
you're not getting Mathurin without including Grimes, in my opinion. I think you have to give up Grimes for Mathurin because there's no point in having both, in my opinion, either.
That's true.
Mathurin is better too, in my opinion.
That is true. I was just thinking from the example of when you're trading with a team like the Hornets for if it was a context in the Pacers, the way they're playing, right? Obviously the season's in the garbage. They're not looking to be better from the deadline right now. So that's where draft picks and capital come into play. That's where a younger player comes into play.
Jabari Walker. I mean, maybe there's a team out there that wants
so it's would you have to give up? Let me ask you this. Kelly or Quentin, one would go at the deadline. Who are you moving out first? See if we align here or
not. That's a really tough one, man. My mind goes to Grimes just
Really?
because of what we have, but I do think Grimes is the better player.
Yeah, I would move on from Kelly. It's tough. I don't want to move on from either. I think they can both
Yeah.
do different things, and I think come playoff time, playoff rotation, they both can provide different things to the stars and
Grimes
help.
could be better playoff
Quentin
time.
Quentin undoubtedly has to shoot better down the stretch of the season and in the postseason, right?
This is a great point as well, though. Yeah. On top of that.
Yeah, but I think he's shooting like 31% from three since December. I saw Mark Henry Jr.'s tweet earlier. It's been bad. It's looked
Yeah.
bad, and the stats back it up. It's been bad. I would keep him. Kelly, you have a couple seasons of now. Obviously, this is Paul George. Max is on a different level at everything, but you have some sort of history with Kelly and this core together in the postseason. Hasn't won anything. You haven't had Grimes in the postseason with this core. I don't know. You don't have to move either of them. I'm not saying that, but like to your point, like all right, Benedict Matherin's on the table.
Yeah, I would.
It's going to
Kelly.
take one of the two to be packaged in the deal for him to make you better and towards the postseason. Who's it going to be? I would move off Kelly right now, but we'll see what they decide.
Because there's the world. I don't know. You probably get I would love Benedict Mathurin. Yeah, for sure. That's my favorite one out of the guys you named. Colin Sexton makes some sense just because he is a ball handler. He's a point guard. It's a little different, I guess you could say. Could take some of the off of VJ and Maxey a little bit, but that's interesting. Is there a world like could we get like a Nemhard? Is that possible? I don't know. I'm just playing. Probably financially it wouldn't work. I know Indiana probably wants to hold on to him, but yeah, I think you're probably right on Grimes Oubre situation. If I could go back and correct that, I think you're right. I think you're right. Just thinking about what we lack, and I think Oubre can be replaced to an extent, right? Like Barlow can do a little bit of it. Walker can do a little bit of it.
Right.
Paul George obviously starts at the 3 right now. So
the upside of Quentin's ceiling for shooting and scoring plus the defense is bigger and better than what Kelly can provide for you as a spacer and everything.
Grimes can win you a playoff game. And I know that sounds crazy, but giving you 20 off the bench, 15 to 20 off the bench can win you just one playoff game in a series. And I think more than Oubre. I think Grimes has that capability.
With that said, man, you see a little bit of a stretch coming. We're actually obviously no Joel tonight, second half of a back-to-back. Paul didn't play last night. He is a game-time decision. I haven't been on Twitter. I don't know if he's in or not. I'm assuming that the lineup's out by now. But you see a little bit of a streak coming for this Sixers team?
It's like Paul George is out, according to ESPN, but I don't know. Said game time decision earlier, so I think that is up to date. But you got a little bit of a stretch.
He is out.
I think it's a stretch where we kind of find out, if we can take this Sixers team, like anything close to serious, man. The Suns tonight, obviously, they look like a team. You trade, KD over the offseason. Jalen Green's out for the season. They're just a team that's been playing some good ball. It's almost like they've gotten back to, having the team focused around Devin Booker. So it is a good test out there in the West. They're in the playoff picture in the West. I think that's a good test. You got the Rockets next. That's obviously a good test. They're going to be tough. You get the Knicks, who are actually not playing very well right now. I think they've lost like 9 of their last 11. Hornets, Bucks, Kings. That's going to be your stretch where you can kind of take advantage, gain some ground in the East. But I think over these next, you could say these next 3 games, these will be nice tests to see where the Sixers are really at. Once again, we're looking for challenges to see what this team can ultimately do. How serious can we take them? They failed the challenge against the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? On not a back-to-back, but they played them 2 times in a row, right?
And the second one that I was at, man, sucked for multiple reasons for me. But, like, I had the Sixers team total, and that was kind of going through my head that I was gonna lose that at the end of the game. It wasn't really crossing my mind up like 7 or 8 points with 4 minutes left that I'm going to lose my bet, and the Sixers are going to blow this in the final 3 minutes as well. No Darius Garland in this game for the Cavs too. Like he played in the first one, obviously not the second one. It was an annoying loss. It was a bad loss. It was a game the Sixers they controlled it for 95% of the game that night. And they went to halftime. I think they were up, 62, like 56, 62, 54 at half.
Yeah.
Won the third quarter, won most of the fourth quarter, and blew it, man.
It is weird, man, because I did expect Maxey to come out and, try to go at Mitchell specifically, just because Mitchell's that other guard up there in the East with him. But no, I think it has something to do with that length that the Cavs present with Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. They shut down those screens from Joel. They trap Maxey, get the ball out of his hands. They force Joel to beat him. They basically were taking Maxey out of the game. So it was interesting to see that. And it seems like that's what more teams are trying to do right now. They're especially not letting Maxey get clean looks from the 3-point line. Mm-hmm. So to that point about Grimes, guys like him, VJ, they gotta start hitting some shots again, right? Get back to that consistency and spacing the floor. That way it'll help Maxey out a bit. But shout out to Mad Max, man. I know he didn't play well against Cleveland, but he did get his first All-Star start. So I'm happy for my man's. And he gets his signature shoe, which is pretty
New
cool
Balance.
As well. He's finally fulfilling the name, right? The franchise. So it's just awesome to see him kind of reaching levels that we've only recently seen Joel hit, right? So it's nice seeing another player get there. But yeah, man, please no Dylan Brooks like super game or something, man. Like, please.
It's funny, bro. Because like tonight, I wish. Obviously, underdogs at home again won last night, so you're trying to start this little bit of streak where rhythm they're getting that we can get into. But I texted you earlier. I laid the over in the game, like not just Sixers team total. I laid the actual over. Yeah, and I saw the starting lineup: no Paul George, no Embiid. So it's like, it's Tyrese, VJ, Kelly, Barlow, Drummond starting. There's not a ton of juice. We're like 10 minutes away from tip. There's not a lot of juice, and I need the Suns to score. I'm not overly optimistic for the Sixers' chances tonight. All I could say is go score some points, and hopefully we score more than the Suns. And
it's gonna be tough.
By over.
It's gonna be tough. That starting lineup sounds horrible, man. Sounds so clunky. If these guys are not hitting threes, it's going to be a long night. But maybe they can get out on the break, get a Dembona in there for Drummond, get out, run some transition, and get out in the flow. Let Maxey have a night. Never know. But yeah, Sam fucking Merrill and Jalen Tyson, dog. Jalen Tyson having a career. It always happens, bro. Like, especially when we have the black jerseys on, by the way. Like, we just get done up with the black jerseys on. It's like everybody wants to cook us. Because I just remember LeBron coming to town. Brother hadn't played like all season. Drops like 40 on us in Philly, like for no reason. Just got the black jerseys on. That's all. So yeah, man.
Come on tonight, my man. Respond tonight. But anyway, that is going to do it for this fucking hour and 15-minute episode that we weren't expecting to get into, but we had a lot to talk about. We'll continue to have a lot to talk about. We got some new things coming to the channel, guys. We're gonna have more clips dropping for you on the YouTube channel. We're gonna get into some fun overall, just sports topics, not just, it'll obviously include Philly sports segments, but it'll include everything. Obviously, you see all the trends with these other podcasts and these guys with their boys talking, keep 3, cut 5 type of shit and head to head. So we'll start to do that, start to get into some shorts, have some more fun with it. So with that said, obviously follow us on Twitter at DSM_media. They'll drop there. Check us out on TikTok. They'll drop there as well. But more importantly, make sure to check us out on the YouTube channel. Subscribe. For myself, for Scotty, for DSM-Media. Enjoy the rest of your night. Go Sixers. And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Go Sixers.